Hey, what's up, good people? I'm QC. Welcome to a brand new edition of Talkin and Grubbin, and this is my NFC wildcard preview. Starting with the Seattle Seahawks versus the Dallas Cowboys. The Seahawks, they kind of got off to a rough start, but they had a hell of a finish to the second half of the season and clinched a wild card in the NFC playoffs. Russell Wilson has been doing Russell Wilson things all year. He finished the regular season with 3,448 yards, 35 touchdowns, and only 7 interceptions. His rushing yards have gone down. He didn't have any rushing touchdowns, but he's had one great year. Russell also has a nice complement of weapons who I think has been slept on, starting with running back Chris Carson. He finished the regular season with 1,151 rushing yards and 9 touchdowns. Wide receiver Tyler Lockett, he finished with 965 yards, 10 touchdowns. Also, you got the veteran Doug Baldwin, one of the holdovers from the Super Bowl team, who finished the regular season with 618 yards and 5 touchdowns, and a solid running back in Mike Davis, who finished with 4 touchdowns. And the Seahawks have had a ferocious defense over this season that's been anchored by Bobby Wagner and Earl Thomas, who are holdovers from the original Legion of Boom that helped the Seahawks win the Super Bowl a few years ago. Both Wagner and Thomas finished with 3 interceptions, while Wagner had 2 forced fumbles. Jaron Reed had 10 sacks, and Frank Clark had 13 sacks. Now on the flip side to the Dallas Cowboys, quarterback Dak Prescott, he finished with 3,885 yards, 22 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and 6 rushing yards. Superstar running back Ezekiel Elliott, he finished with 1,434 yards and 6 touchdowns. Now, the biggest asset of the Cowboys came at the trade deadline when they acquired Amari Cooper from the Oakland Raiders. With Oakland, he averaged 280 yards and 1 touchdown. He got to the Cowboys, he finished with 725 yards and 6 touchdowns. Also, the Cowboys have a very talented defense that's led by rookie Leighton Vander Esch, who was recently named NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year. He finished with 140 tackles and 2 interceptions. DeMarcus Lawrence, he finished in 2 forced fumbles. And Tyrone Crawford, he finished with 5 sacks and 1 forced fumble. For me, this game is going to come down to time of possession. Both teams are going to want to pressure the quarterback and force turnovers so they can get their offense more time on the field. But on the flip side, the Seahawks, they're going to force Dak Prescott to beat them. They're going to try their best to contain Zeke. For the Dallas Cowboys, they're going to try to contain Russell Wilson, but they know definitely a threat not only with his arm but his legs as well. So they're going to try to shut down Lockett and Carson. So I think this is definitely going to be a close game, but I'm going to take the Seahawks on the road because of their experience, and also Russell Wilson has proven that he could definitely get it done in the playoffs. Now on to the next NFC wildcard matchup. It's the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles versus the Chicago Bears. Now the Eagles had their ups and downs during the regular season, but at the end of the regular season, they put it all together to win out and finish with a 9-7 record to clinch the final wild card spot. And guess who brought them there? Yes, Nick Foles delivered once again, stepping up for Carson Wentz after his season ended for the second year in a row due to injury. Just like last year when Foles went on to win Super Bowl MVP, Foles has gotten the Eagles back into the playoffs. He stepped up and finished with over 1,400 yards, 7 TDs, and 4 interceptions. The tight end Zach Ertz, he finished the regular season with 1,163 yards and 6 touchdowns. The former Chicago Bear Alshon Jeffrey finished with 843. Nelson Aguilar, he finished with 736 yards, 4 touchdowns. But the Eagles really don't have much of a running game, as running backs Josh Adams and Wendell Smallwood finished with 875 yards and 6 touchdowns combined. Now the Eagles, they still have a nice solid defense that's anchored by the veteran Malcolm Jenkins, who finished the regular season with 3 fumbles. Rasul Douglas, he finished with 3 interceptions. The veteran Fletcher Cox finished with 10 sacks, and Chris Long finished with 6 sacks. Now on the flip side to the Bears, quarterback Mitchell Trubisky, a Cleveland native, has done a pretty good job. He finished the regular season with 3,223 yards, 24 touchdowns, and only 12 interceptions. The running back, Jordan Howard, he finished with 935 rushing yards and 9 touchdowns. The other running back, Tariq Cohen, he's more of a receiving running back than a rushing running back. He finished with 725 receiving yards and 5 touchdowns. Allen Robinson, the wide receiver, finished with 754 yards, 4 touchdowns. Their tight end, Trey Burton, finished with 569 yards and 6 touchdowns. But the Bears' biggest strength is on their defense that's anchored by Khalil Mack, who they acquired from the Oakland Raiders in the offseason. He leads the team with 12.5 sacks, 6 forced fumbles, and 1 touchdown. Also, cornerback Kyle Fuller has 7 interceptions. The veteran Eddie Jackson has 6 interceptions. Plus two interceptions returned for touchdowns. And Akeem Hicks, he also has 7.5 sacks and 3 forced fumbles. Now, Wu-Tang Clan came out with a song called Protect Your Neck back in the 90s. This is a protect your neck type of game because the Eagles, they want to keep the ball away from that vaunted Bears defense. And also, the Bears, they want to get pressure on foes as well as force turnovers, either to change field position or turn those turnovers into points. This is going to be a very close game. You know, you got a very young Bears team who's had a great year, but you still got the defending champs on the field as well. But I'm going to go with the Bears in a very close game. Anyways, that's my preview for Wild Card Weekend. Leave your comments in the section below. Who do you think will win this weekend's games? Till next time, y'all have a good one. Love y'all to life. QC out. Hey, what's up, good people? It's QC once again. Now that you saw the video, subscribe to the channel. When you do, click on the bell icon so that way you won't miss any new videos from me and be mad. Let your family and friends miss those videos and let them be mad. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Like me on Facebook. Thanks for watching.